officially on Alex. At least all of them in here. And at home, I have Randy, Jose, Luisa, and Junior are officially on Alex. I'm having trouble getting Santiago on and Jesus on. Jose, is your computer still having issues with the loading?
No.
Okay. Because I haven't seen you start your multiplication match. This should be quick practice. This is just practice. So if you're having trouble with the easy multiplication, then that means you need to get your brain moving. We got to get some practice going in there. Okay, 30 more seconds and I'm moving on. Nope, or I'm just moving on. Okay, word problems. Remember, we're doing word problems on our quiz for tomorrow. So we have, if I'm not mistaken, 8 questions on your quiz tomorrow. 7 or 8, one of those two. Half of it is word problems and half of it is just problems that you need to work out. Remember, you're using your notes and all of those things. So let's go ahead and read. When we read our word problems, how many times do we read them? 2 times. That's not just me when I'm reading them. That should be you when you're reading them to yourself. Because I find that when you read them to yourself one time, what happens? You end up doing it incorrectly because you didn't get all the information. So make sure you're reading it to yourself twice. So it says, for a conference, a hotel charges $45 per hour for the use of a banquet, plus $22.95 per person. What is the total cost to rent a banquet room for 3 hours for 180 people? So let's read it one more time. Do me a favor, make sure this goes in your notebook. This one, all the words. Notebook before I go in and read it again. An underline. Todo, palabras y todo escrito en la libreta. William, la libreta no está ni abierta. You have your notebook? You have your paper? Oh. Same for those of you at home. Make sure this example is going in your notebook. Okay, so again, it says for a conference, a hotel charges $45 per hour for the use of a banquet, plus $22.95 per person. So, question, what does $45 per hour mean? What's happening there? I don't know what's happening. So if you're doing this word problem on your own, what is it telling you that you have to do? Am I just paying $45 one time? Huh? No, you're not. Because it's for every hour you use the banquet. What about $22.95 per person? So if I had all of you in a banquet, am I only paying $22.95? Or am I going to pay $22.95 for each person? Yes or no? Yes, I would pay $22.95 for each person. So it says, what is the total cost to rent a banquet for 3 hours for 180 people? So first things first, let's look at those hours. So I have a banquet hall for 3 hours. What am I doing? What do I have to do? I'm not doing this problem alone. Your quiz is tomorrow. You need to know how to do it. What do I need to do? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? I'm going to what? Multiply. Because if it's per hour, remember, per means multiply. Okay? Per means multiply. So if it's $45 per hour, right? And it's plus $22.95 per person. So this is what it looks like when I'm going to work it out. 45, what did we say per stands for? I heard it. Say it louder. What does per stand for? Multiplication. How many hours? 3 hours. So 45 times 3 equals, then I have to do plus $22.95. What does per stand for again? Multiplication. And how many people? 180 people. So I have $45 times how many hours? And I have $22.95 times how many people? When I solve for both, what do I do with those two numbers? add them because I want to know the total cost. So let's go ahead and do 45 times 3. What is 5 times 3? It's taking way longer to get through this today than it did last week. What is 5 times 3? I must start calling names. 5 times 3. 15. Carry 1. What's 4 times 3? Plus 1. 13. So that's 135. Now I'm going to do the next one. 180. What is any number times 0? 0. So I have 5 times 0, 0. 9 times 0, 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So then I'm going to cross out my 0 and put a 0. What is 5 times 8? You have your charts in front of you. What is 5 times 8? 40. Put down the 4, carry. Put down the 0, carry the 4. What's 9 times 8? What? Plus 4. 76. Are we sure? Yep, 76. I was thinking in my head. Sorry. What is 2 times 8? Plus 7 more. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We said 2 times 8 was what? Plus 2 more? 18. I cross out the 8 and I put 2 zeros. 1, 2. What is any number times 5? What's any number times 5? Itself. So Yair, what's 5 times 5? 5 times 1, sorry. 5. What's 9 times 1, Yvonne? Garnier, what's 2 times 1? What's 2 times 1? Thank you. 2. Angel, what's 2 times 1? Yes, please, louder. Thank you. No es que están equivocados, es que no lo puedo oír. Now we got to add. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. What's 6 plus 5? 11. What is 1 plus 3? 4. 4 plus, I don't even remember what that number was. 9, right? 4 plus 9? 13. What is 8 plus 2 plus 1? 11. What is 1 plus 1? Plus 2? 4. So now I have 1, 2 places after the decimal. So that means I go 1, 2, decimal. So what do I do with this number and this number? What do I do with my 2 numbers? I add them. So I'm going to take 4,131 plus 135. I have my zeros. What is 1 plus 5? What's 3 plus 3? What's 1 plus 1? 2. What's 4? Just 4. So our answer is 4,266. For those of you that are not wanting to answer, remember tomorrow you have to do this alone. So if you don't know how to do it now, me finding that out is probably better today than tomorrow. Make sure this is written down. And then we're going to move on to number 2. Or maybe number 3. I don't know. It depends on if I want you to do your own problem now or not. You spent a lot of time on that. Can I erase this side?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says a carpenter cut 6 1/2 foot board. Cut a 6 1/2 foot board into 1 1/4 foot sections. What is the number of sections he cut? So think about this. You have a board and you cut it into sections. So I have a 6 1/2 foot board and I cut it into 1 1/4 foot sections. What is the number of sections he cut? What do I have to do to solve the problem? Think about it. Emily, what do I have to do? What do you think? Okay, anybody else? What are we all thinking? I want to know everybody's thoughts. Multiply, what else are we thinking?
There's a section for corporate section, and for that, well, dividing.
Why do you think divide? I love asking that question and then people just stopping like they think they're wrong. Okay, let's think about it. So this is why I said read the problem carefully. You need to picture these things in your head. So if I have, right, I have a board. I have a board that's 6 1/2 feet, right? Right? And I'm going to cut it. I'm cutting it. I don't know if these are the right sizes. I'm just saying, I'm cutting it. Does that mean I'm adding those two numbers together? Does that mean I'm subtracting those two numbers? Does it mean I'm multiplying those two numbers? That means I'm dividing my board. Because if you have one big pile, so maybe a board is a weird number, right? Or it's a weird thing for you to think about. But let's say you have a big pizza, right? And your pizza has 6 slices, right? And you want to share it with 3 friends. Are you going to add those two numbers together to figure out how many slices all your friends get? No, right? What would you do to figure out how many slices each friend gets? You would divide because you're going to split apart the pizza. So when you think of things like cut, when you think of the word cut, it usually means that you're going to divide. So words like cut usually mean division because you're splitting something apart. You have to think about it in terms of something that you usually use. So like, I'm pretty sure you guys don't usually cut wood, right? I know I don't cut wood, but I do cut a pizza, and I would cut a pizza by dividing it. So I'm going to take my two fractions, and I'm going to divide them. I want you to go ahead and solve this. I want you to go ahead and solve it. You can do it on your paper and then circle it on the screen, that's fine. But I want you to think of how you're going to solve this. What would you do first with those mixed numbers? I don't know. What would I do first with a mixed number? Tell me, what do you think I would do with my mixed numbers so that I could work it out? Would you use them just like that, or would you turn it into something else? Right? What? Do you remember what it's called? Improper fractions, the big number on the top and the small number on the bottom. Okay, so we turn our mixed number into an improper fraction. How do I turn it into an improper fraction? Emily, help me out. How do I turn it into an improper fraction? Yeah. Good. Which gave you what? 13 over 2 divided by, and what did happen to this one? 5/4. Good. So first step, we turned it into an improper fraction. Then you divide. You should be looking back in your notes to do your division. I showed you 2 ways to divide. What are you doing? Remember, I showed you 2 ways to divide. You can either do common denominators, or you can do keep, change, and flip. Okay, I'm gonna give you another minute and then we'll go over it.
So how many times is 10 going to 52? It goes in 5 times, so which one would be your first answer? So you have to be able to simplify it in order to figure out. Don't just guess it, because you found the answer. So it makes sense for you to choose it in your answer, you know what I mean?
Okay, so how many of you, so I want to gauge it. Raise your hand if you used keep, change, flip. I know there's more of you. Who else used keep, change, flip? And then the rest of you use common denominators? Or you're still working? I'm going to use keep, change, flip for right now. So if I'm doing keep, change, flip, or Kentucky Fried Chicken, what happens to my first number? Stays the same. What happens to my division? Changes to multiplication, and my 5/4 changes to 4/5. So now I multiply across. What's 2 times 5? 10. And what's 13 times 4? I don't know. What's 13 times 4? Thank you. I mean, like, okay, saying 52 because you're scared that you're wrong. I'd rather you say 52 and I go, okay, hold on, you're like one number off or you're right. You gotta say it out loud. Am I done? Can I pick an answer from that? No, I can't. I have to simplify it, right? Because I mean, I might know from that what my answer is, but you have to double check. How many times does 10 go into 52? 5 times. And then you have 2 left over. So, what is the number of sections he can cut? 5 sections. Could he cut 8 sections? Could he cut 6 sections? No, because there isn't enough wood. So he cut 5 sections. I wish we could continue, but we can't. So we're going to stop here because I want you to have enough time to do your classwork. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the link. You can click it and go. Make sure if you're having trouble with one of your classwork problems, today is the day to tell me. Not tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'll say, do your best. You know, I hate that answer, but that's all I can give you. Okay, for those of you at home,